Hello. So today we'll talk about branched chain amino acids. Part 1, we'll divide it into two parts, part 1 and 2. In this we'll discuss part 1. So we'll try to identify introduction and two important branched chain amino acids, glycine and alanine. In the glycine, we'll talk about the metabolism and the biologically important compounds with little details along with applied aspect to it. So we will try to identify the first amino acid called as glycine. So it is the simplest amino acid and the R group here is a hydrogen atom. It is in the list of 20 amino acids. Glycine is the first amino acid. Okay. Okay. So, and this is a non-optical amino acid due to asymmetric carbon. This asymmetric carbon is very important. So it is a non-essential, also conditionally essential and glycogenic amino acid. Okay. We will try to identify the metabolism of glycine. So how is glycine synthesized? By two important methods. One is called as serine, another is called as threonine. So from alcoholic amino acids, I can get glycine. So serine on hydroxymethyl transferase, THF2. See now, THF2, N5N10 methylene THF, we will get glycine. This is reversible reaction. Okay. So that means I can get back serine. And we'll get from threonine on aldolase. Threonine on aldolase. Remember, whenever aldolase comes, it is a cleavage reaction. We'll get glycine and acetaldehyde. Glycine is important for us. Okay. There is one more method, that is it can undergo it can be reversibly formed by transamination, that is alanine to pyruvate. We will get glyoxylate. And then we will talk about glycine cleavage system. So glycine on decarboxylation becomes amino methyl group. Okay. Then then we'll have on decarboxylation once again we'll get ammonia. So two decarboxylations. First decarboxylation, amino methyl group. On decarboxylation, the methyl group is removed, donated to THF. So THF2, N5-methyl THF will get ammonia. And lipomide to reduced lipomide, that is oxidized to reduced. Okay. This we have seen in the PDH complex of glycolysis. Okay. Now, what are the biologically important compounds from glycine? We have creatine and creatinine. Okay. Then we have heme, detoxification, purines, glutathione, inhibitory neurotransmitter and part of protein. So talking about creatine and creatinine first, we can see here. So arginine, which is coming from urea cycle, combines with glycine, as you can see here, by by enzyme amide transamidase or amidotransferase. We'll get guanidoacetic acid. Okay. That means guanido group is donated by the arginine to the glycine. Okay. Then guanidoacetate or guanidoacetic acid on methyl transferase. Remember, whenever methyl transferase comes, please mention SAM to SA. That is S-adenosyl methionine to S-adenosyl homocysteine. That forms creatine. Then creatine on kinase. Kinase ATP-ADP reversible phosphocreatine or creatine phosphate. Now, from these two, we will try to get creatinine. Simple. So, creatinine on dehydration will get creatinine. Then creatine phosphate or phosphocreatine on dephosphorylation, we will get creatinine. Okay. So, we will try to identify the next thing, that is heme. So, why heme synthesis? First step, glycine plus succinyl-CoA will form delta amino levulinic acid. Okay. Now remember that ALA is also there in essential fatty acid where the body is not able to convert ALA to DHA. DHA is what? That is important for brain development. So remember your Horlicks ad where DHA was specifically mentioned in the Horlicks drink. Okay. Now detoxification. We have glycine and benzoic acid to form hippuric acid. This is important in food preservation. Okay. And purine. C4, C5 and N7. Please remember this three important C4, C5 and N7 for purine ring. And then glutathione. What is glutathione? Gamma glutamyl cysteine glycine. So we will see regarding the glutathione. This is the figure to show. So glutamate combines with cysteine on gamma glutamyl cysteine synthase. ATP, ADP, two are generated. We'll get gamma glutamyl cysteine. On addition of glycine, on enzyme gamma glutamyl cysteine glycine synthase or glutathione synthase, two ATPs once again, we'll get gamma glutamyl cysteine glycine or glutathione. Okay, it is a dipeptide, two peptide bonds will be formed. Okay, all right. Next, inhibitory neurotransmitter, I already told you for nerve impulse transmission, and protein, that is alpha helix. Alpha helix is a part of secondary structure of protein. So we have there is certain parameter which is going to identify whether an amino acid will be there significantly in an alpha helix or not. And glycine is one such amino acid which we can identify in the alpha helix. Now, applied aspect, we have creatine and creatinine. So what is the importance? So creatine is formed during muscle breakdown, okay? And if deficient, causes muscle cramps. If excess in the urine, it forms creatinuria. And creatinine, it is used in the renal function tests. That is in the form of creatinine clearance, okay? And lastly, primary hyperoxaluria, that is oxalate stones in the kidney. Okay, so how we are getting this oxalate is, as I already told, glycine reversibly on transamination, alanine to pyruvate and oxygen to hydrogen peroxide, we will get glyoxylate. On decarboxylation, we'll get formate that enters one carbon pool, and on deoxidation, on deoxygenation, we are getting oxalate. Okay, and enzyme deficient is glycine transamidase. What was it converting? It was combining our arginine and glycine to form guanidoacetate. And I've already told you that how we are getting guanidoacetate. Arginine is donating its guanido group to glycine to form guanidoacetate. The same oxalate we have identified in vitamin C, in hypervitaminosis C along with B6 deficiency. Remember that even B6 is also important for neurotransmission. And please know which vitamins are important for neurotransmission. And then glycinuria, that is excess glycine in the urine giving rise to oxalate stones. And now we will move on to next amino acid, that is alanine. So this is non-essential and glycogenic amino acid. It has importantly a methyl group. Okay. So what are the uses of alanine in gluconeogenesis? Because it is between the Cori's and Cahill cycle. So I will give a reference for this. Either you can refer Vasudevan or you can also refer the Satyanarayana. There Cori's and Cahill cycle is given. So I will try to give the details. Cori cycle occurs in the muscle, Cahill cycle in the liver. So what is happening when we are doing exercise in the gym? What is happening is that glucose in the muscle is undergoing glycolysis to form pyruvate, and here glucose 6-phosphate interconvertibly forms glycogen. Now the pyruvate is transaminated to form alanine and lactate. So alanine is the amino acid, lactate is the keto acid. Okay, keto acid. Yeah, we have keto group in lactate. So both of these enter the bloodstream, then go into the liver, and gluconeogenesis happens. That is, we'll get back glucose. What I said for Cori cycle, exactly opposite happens in Cahill cycle. So now what the glucose we got is going to come back to the muscle by traversing the blood. Okay. Then use in alanine pyruvate shuttle. Why we need the shuttle? To regulate the 2.5 ATP. So we will try to identify where we have used this 2.5 ATP. In Boyer's mechanism, we have identified the 2.5 ATP, and also in chemiosmotic hypothesis. Okay, and this is a part of the structure of vitamin B5, pantothenic acid. This had a component called as beta-alanine. So first we had pantoic acid, then we had beta-alanine, okay, and then we had the ribose sugar, okay. This is also important for the synthesis of carnosine and anserine. So how do we get? Please write down. Beta-alanine combines with L-histidine on ATP-AMP carnosine synthase. We'll get carnosine. On methyl transferase SAM to SA, ATP-AMP, we'll get anserine. So carnosine and anserine, these are present in the muscle. This will also useful in the muscle breakdown. Okay. So the references, the Satyanarayana 3rd edition and the Vasudevan 6th edition. That brings us to the end of the video. Okay. So glycine is important essay question, and please, while writing the answer of glycine, whatever I mentioned, please write down along with the biological compounds, the metabolism, and the applied aspect. So thank you so much. I'll see you in the next video.